Are you wondering about your chin hair? Do you want a permanent hair removal option, including taking care of the sources of your chin hair? Because let me tell you, there's nothing permanent if you don't actually take care of the source. So in today's video, I'm going to share the sources so you can look around in your life and see where your chin hair problem might be coming from. And I'm going to share the permanent hair removal option. Not one of those things where if you stop this cream, it'll come back. If you don't take this pill, none of that. This is like done. When it's done, it's done. And you will be so happy because you will not have to feel embarrassed or that pain of realizing that, you know, you might have a chin hair and someone's coming too close to you. Listen, if you are struggling from chin hair, you likely have a hormonal imbalance issue. How could you know? Well, look at other symptoms like thinning hair or sticky belly fat, or you have digestive issues, memory issues, your skin is just dry and crusty, you've got acne, back knee, chest acne. You may also have dryness when you're trying to have intimate time. You may also be struggling from infertility, unfortunately, perimenopause symptoms, heavy bleeding, erratic cycles, menopause symptoms. All of that is part of hormonal imbalance symptoms. And I'm gonna make sure that you have confidence in your appearance and especially confidence inside in your mind. So in today's video, we're going to talk about chin hair because I know getting rid of it is going to boost your confidence and you're not going to be embarrassed anymore in public settings or just worried like, is it showing? You know, it just feels horrible. I know, I've lived it, and I even have children. And one day my son says to me, as he's laying on my lap, just playing, he's like, "Mommy, do girls have beards?" And I knew immediately. I knew I'd missed one or two. I knew because he's looking right at me. He's laying on my lap and looking right up. Like, what do I say? I'm like, no, they don't. Then why do you have one? So are you a girl? Listen, I don't remember how that story ended. I honestly don't remember because I think I just blotted it out. It was too traumatic. I'm like, this is not life. This is not how I wanted to go down. I've lived the struggle since I was 16. I'm 39, somewhere up there, okay? And I have been through the chin hair life for so long. I got so tired of it and I was so happy, so glad when I got options for permanent removal. Get your notepad and start taking some notes. I'm gonna spill it all for you. So first and foremost, because in my previous video that I will link over here somewhere sometime, I got a lot of questions about hormones. Yes, it is a hormone imbalance issue. The way hormones work in our body is magnificent. And what are hormones? Just the telephone line between our organs. Some common hormones you may know: endorphins you get through exercise, insulin that manages your blood sugar is a hormone, melatonin for sleep, testosterone mostly large amounts in men but also present in women in small amounts. Other female hormones including estrogen that you're probably familiar with, and good old progesterone, our happy hormone. So is it tied to hormones? Big answer, yes. If you're seeing chin hair as a female, that is a sign, a symptom of hormonal imbalance. Now, I cannot confirm that for you because I'm not your doctor. And the way the medical system here works is that we're not supposed to step on their toes. So I want to talk about the idea that if you have a flooding basement and you take your mop bucket and your mop and you go down there and you start mopping and you're like, why am I not seeing any progress? Well, it may be time to look for the source. There is always a source. There might be a leak. Find the source. For everyone, including you, it's going to be different. That's not to say it's unique for every single body, but the point is there is no such thing as like this one-stop shop. I've seen a lot of programs online. They're like, take this one supplement, you know, and that's gonna cure it all. Well, here's the thing. The body is holistic. Every part works together and it's interconnected. The way we were created is like this system that works together to bring wellness as a whole. So unfortunately, you could find yourself spending a lot of money chasing after this one piece that, yes, might be helpful together with other pieces. It's not just one thing. So I'm going to talk about some of those places you may find the leak. This is not going to be exhaustive, and I will give you options in the description below for something more exhaustive if you would like. All right, so here is number one. Number one is going to be diet. If you want to permanently remove your chin hairs, you are going to have to look at your diet. Are you eating things that are adding to androgens? Androgens are male hormones. Are you eating things that are causing your cortisol levels to go off? Something like that could be caffeine, for example. That's one thing that definitely causes your cortisol to go off. Are you eating lots of meats and they're messing with your gut health? And when you eat a lot of meats and cheeses and foods low in fiber, what are some things that help with that? More plant-based foods. Look at your diet and see where you can cut out animal products. Now we're going to talk about exercise. Exercise will help you balance your hormones through getting rid of cortisol. When you have high levels of cortisol, it can throw off your androgens, your testosterone, and you can find yourself having sticky belly fat and chin hair. Sometimes those two go together. Now, if you are exercising already and you eat good and you're like, but I still have chin hair, I would look at your mental health. I wish people understood how incredibly connected their mind is to their body physically, which is why if you've been stressed and worried for so long, you might find yourself with physical symptoms like high blood pressure. You might have aches and pains in your back. You might actually form some types of cancers because of stress. Stress is mental thought patterns. So people are like, how do I get rid of stress? Can I get rid of stress? This life is stressful. It's not the things happening outside of you that give you a stress reaction. It's more the way you are taking that information, taking those events and concluding on them in your own mind. You always have a choice to either give it a negative and weighty meaning or give it a more positive or neutral meaning. Maybe someone says something horrible to you at work and that's not something, you didn't do anything wrong, but you can write it off as, wow, that person must really have a lot of issues, or they are just so unkind. Or you could say maybe they're having a bad day. Or I wonder what happened to them as a child that they carry so much pain and like stab everyone with their arrows. You can say anything, or you can say that person is so mean. I can't believe she said that to me, blah, 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 blah. And you can carry that weight. It's up to you what you do with the inputs you're given every day. Again, stress management is not about changing your environment necessarily. It's about indoctrinating yourself to start having a more positive outlook on life and not taking on weights that are not yours, basically. Okay, because life is heavy enough. All right, the next part we're going to talk about is water. It is so important to drink enough water. Why? Your body is 70% water. So what does water help? Basically everything. Most of your body's chemical processes happen in a water environment, in a wet environment. Your cells are wet. Your blood is wet. Your breath, your mouth, every part of your body internally and externally, you're always having like this nice hydration. Matter of fact, if your hands are ashy, mine might be a little bit. Let me put some lotion on them, okay? Otherwise, I'll be calling up myself, okay? So if you find that you are ashy a lot, you know, that's a sign of dehydration. I get ashy a lot, but that's a reminder for me to drink more water. Why? Because it's going to help my hormone balance. Another place you could look is your sleep patterns. If you're not getting 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep at night, your sleep hygiene might be off, and you might just need to sleep better so that your hormones can figure themselves out. Did you know that between the hours of 9 and 3, your body is overhauling the system? It sends out cleaners, it sends out memory storing agents, if you must, and your memory gets sorted the day before. All those things just get sorted out. Have you ever gone to sleep with like this heaviness and like, what am I gonna do? And you wake up the next morning, you're like, oh, I get it. Or you just wake up and you're clear. Or you went to bed just upset, right? Maybe you're arguing with your spouse and like, ah, and you wake up the next morning, you're like, was it really that serious? Because when you were sleeping, your brain got the chance to organize all those thoughts and put it together for you so it's not chaotic in your mind anymore. Those are some of the things that sleep does, and it affects our hormones. Yes, our mind affects our hormones. In fact, there's this little place in your brain, it's sort of like in the middle, called the limbic system. It's kind of like this two almonds put together, if you would. It was something like that, okay? Just the middle part, not the fingers. And the limbic system can, in simple words, read your thoughts. The limbic system takes your thoughts and converts them to messages for your body like hormones and stuff. But the limbic system also has the highest hormone receptors in your body. So it also reads your hormones to allow messages to be sent to your body to know what to do. Again, hormones are just chemical messengers, right? Like that telephone line. On one hand, a telephone, on the other hand, a telephone, ring, ring, hello. And then you have that line that works really well. So I know I give that example a lot. Like everybody's gonna be like, ring, ring, hello. But the point is, I want it to be so crystal clear so you see what hormones are, because a lot of people are saying a lot about hormones, but not explaining what they are and how they work. This video is not going in depth. However, we're gonna continue because I'm telling you how to remove your chin hair for good. The next thing we're gonna talk about is getting rid of those things that only you know you need to get rid of. So a lady came up to me and she was sharing her progress. She said, you know what? I've been staying away from sodas and I lost 15 pounds. This did not take long. Because positive change, unfortunately, somebody's out there lying to people that it takes too long. It does not. Your body was created to heal itself. If you give it the right settings and the right building blocks, you feed it well, you give it the good environment, you let it do that while you sleep, you get enough sleep, it'll put things back together. The final thing we're gonna talk about before I give you the one permanent solution that I know you're waiting for is your genetics. Did you know that sometimes things just show up in your life because they are in your genetic pool? They're just in your family tree. And this can be discouraging to some people because they'll be like, well, you know, Chin hair runs in my family. I have a lot of comments like that. My grandma had it, my mom had it, so I have it. Doesn't that mean it's just gonna happen like that? Well, let me tell you about so many things that run in our family lines. Alcoholism runs in genetics. Diabetes runs in genetics. Heart issues run in genetics. Some of them. Not all of these things, by the way, but sometimes if someone has passed on that gene, it is possible to be prone to those things. So can an alcoholic say that, you know what, I'm an alcoholic because my grandpa was an alcoholic, I don't have a choice? Well, dear sir, madam, if you had not walked into a bar or bought a bottle of wine or alcohol of any nature, you wouldn't be an alcoholic. Which is why I really love this saying that genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. You don't have to activate the genes that you don't like in your body. You can live a life aware. It's actually so good when you can see the things you are prone to genetically, because you can intentionally live to avoid the inevitable. It's not inevitable. You just have to know that I have to be more careful about this. Just like the alcoholic, they have to be more careful than you or me with drinking. I don't drink at all. But if I had a lineage of alcohol, I shouldn't. Because I might end up stuck in there. While my friends are out going for a drink, I have to say no thank you. It's the same way with chin hair and hormone issues, really, with women, because yes, you may have that within your genetics, but that just means you have to live more careful. You have to avoid the things that have a greater push against your hormones. Things like what? Dairy products that are farmed, unfortunately, have hormones in them that were given to the cows to get big faster, to do whatever, right? And those hormones have been studied to be passed down to people, causing little girls to go into puberty earlier, insulin resistance, so much chaos in us. Another thing, the meats. Obviously, if it's in the milk, it's also in the meats. Now you know that, hey, if I'm going to do meat, I have to just keep it slim, and maybe it's for that special occasion, but I cannot be someone who's immersed in plastics. Plastics have been throwing off our hormones for far too long, and even I was not as aware of the damaging effects of plastics till about a couple years ago. And I was just like, whoa, all our lives we've been drinking bottled water, and the people have known that this is what it does to us, and yet without warning. And now all these studies come out about why we are where we are because of things like bottled water in plastics. Maybe you just need to get some glass containers if you can see that this has been in your genetic line. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you just have to exercise more. You're that person who just probably cannot go too far without exercising, because your body really needs to stay in that beautiful balance. Get your sleep, all of that good stuff. Does that make sense? I hope that makes a lot of sense, because I don't want you to feel stuck in this idea that just because your grandma had this problem, you have to carry it. No, in fact, you could be the person to break that cycle. Now your daughter doesn't have to suffer, and your granddaughter can be free because you decided that you were going to reset the system for everyone coming after you. It's a beautiful privilege. So I'm so glad you found this video if that's you saying, hey, I have this genetic issue. All right. Finally, I'm going to tell you all about a permanent hair removal option that I chose. A process called electrolysis. Electrolysis works kind of really well for darker skinned and coarse hair people. Sometimes you may find that electrolysis will be done in a patch on your skin, on your chin or something, and the hair will grow back, because hair is in different phases. People have found a lot of success doing electrolysis over a few months. So 6 months, 9 months. And of course, this is not like every day you're going for a session, or every week. You're not going every week either. You may go twice a month, you may go once a month, depending on how fast or slow your hair grows back. One thing to consider, if you are African American or African in descent, you will find that your coarse hair, if it has a coily nature, it's hard for the electrolysis needle to get the root at the first try sometimes. So you may have a few extra sessions, but it is well worth it. One of the things people talk about with electrolysis is that it hurts. Yes, it hurts. My first appointment, when I went in, the lady asked me, she said, "Does that hurt?" I said, "Yes, but not as painful as having this hair on my face. I don't want to have this hair anymore. Please take it off, whatever it takes." My electrolysis sessions cost me $40 a session, and I think that's well worth the price. I mean, it is kind of good, honestly. I was surprised at how cheap it was, especially compared to stuff like doing your nails, or which, that's just toxic. That's another source, unfortunately, for women, for hormone imbalance, because we're putting so many toxins in our bodies through our nails. Our nails breathe, and they have these, holes, the pores, and then they scratch off the surface and make sure that all the toxins go straight into your bloodstream. Then cancers and all kinds of health issues pop up. We don't have to do that to ourselves anymore. We have to reject the standards that somebody is putting on us and protect our health. We can fight for what's actually important and reject foolishness. Seriously, I don't know what else to call it, because it's unfortunate what the trends and everything, how they put us in these very terrible positions to be sick. So back to electrolysis. It is basically done by a licensed person. They don't have to be a professional healthcare provider or anything like that. And they do it in a clean environment. Sometimes people have reactions to it, but a lot of people I've talked to, they've had no reactions. I myself had no reactions, and I'm so glad I took that route. I am so glad, because with laser, it comes back. The creams, you've got to keep going like everything else, but with electrolysis, once it's off, it's off. I've heard a few stories, drops in a bucket, of people who were like, "It didn't work for me." Sadly, that's kind of how life is. Maybe some people it doesn't work for, but the people I know that have done it have had positive results, and I hope that if you try it, you will too. If you have any questions about electrolysis, I would be happy to answer them for you. Just drop them in the comments. Don't forget, this is not just about doing the electrolysis, because if you do electrolysis and you get it done over these months, if you have not taken care of the things we talked about previously, your diet, your stress levels, your sleep, your water, and all these things, you will see that it will start coming back. Why? Because you haven't got the source. You didn't take care of the source of the leak. So you're just gonna have to keep mopping. And people where electrolysis takes too long, like whenever I hear someone who's like, "Electrolysis took this long for me, like such a long time," I'm like, probably no one told them that they can actually get rid of the source of their chin hair while they do electrolysis, so that the hair stops coming back. Ladies, I do hope that you will find relief for that terrible struggle with chin hairs. I love speaking to women, showing them how they can get free and from all these hormone symptoms, including chin hair, sticky belly fat, digestion issues, fatigue, memory issues, dry skin, acne in your older age, or even symptoms of menopause and perimenopause and PMS, erratic bleeding, or infertility. So many things tied to our hormones. And I hope you can find relief from them. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you next Monday in the next video here on Everyday Nurse. Bye.